best poem for kids. The ostrich. The ostrich roams the great Sahara. Its mouth is wide as snake is Nara. It has such long and lofty legs. I'm glad it sits to lay its legs. The termite. Some primal termite knocked on wood and tested it and found it good, and that is why your cousin May fell through the parlor floor today. The turtle. Turtle lives betwixt plated decks, which particularly conceal its sex. I think it clever of the turtle in such a fix to be so fertile. The wasp. The wasp and all his numerous family I look upon as a major calamity. He throws open his nest with prodigality, but I distrust his hospitality. Crocodile. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail, and pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin, how nearly spread his claws, and welcome his little fishes in with gently smiling jaws. There was a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead. When she was so good, she was very good indeed, but when she was bad, she was horrid. Hippopotamus. I shook the hippopotamus with bullets made of platinum, because if I use leaden ones, his hide is sure to flatten them. The vulture. The vulture eats between his meals, and that's the reason why he very, very rarely feels as well as you and I. His eye is dull, his head is bald, his neck is growing thinner. Oh, what a lesson for us all to only eat at dinner. Octopus, tell me, oh octopus, I beg, is those thing arms or is they legs? I marvel at them. The octopus, if I were though, I would call me us. Further reflection on parsley. Parsley is ghastly. Full fathom fi, thy father lies, of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes, nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. See nymphs hourly ring his knell. Ding dong, hark, now I hear them ding dong bell. People upstairs. The people upstairs all practice ballet. Their living room is bowling alley. Their bedroom is full of conducted dudes. Their radio is louder than yours. They celebrate weekends all the week. When they take a shower, your ceilings leak. They try to get their parties to mix by supplying their guests with pogo sticks. And when their fun at last abates, they go to the bathroom on roller skates. I might love the people upstairs more if they only lived on another floor. The guppy. Whales have cows, cats have kittens, bears have cups, bats have kittens, bittens, swans have cygnets, seals have puppies, but guppies just have little guppies. Cradle song. Sleep, sleep, beauty bright, dreaming into the joys of night. Sleep, sleep in thy sleep, little sorrows sipped and weep. Sweet babe, in thy face, soft desires I can trace, secret joys and secret smiles, that little pretty infant whiles. As thy softest limbs I feel smiles as of the morning steal, over the cheek and over thy breast, where thy little heart doth rest. Oh, the cunning wiles that creep in the little heart asleep, when thy little heart doth wake, then the dreadful night shall break. The tiger. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. What immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burn the fire of thine eyes? Oh, what wings dare he aspire? What a hand dare seize he fire? And what shoulder and what art could raise the news of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer, what the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What an anvil, what dread grasp dead its deadly terrace class? What the stars flew down the space, and what at heaven with their tears did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamp make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? lily bell, and the thistle song. Awake, awake, my earliest gleam of golden sunlight shines off the rippling waves that brightly flow beneath the flowering vines. Awake, awake, for the low sweet chant of the viper's morning hymn come floating by on the fragrant air through the forest cool and dim. Then spread each wing and walk and sing through the long, bright, sunny hours. Over the pleasant earth we journey forth for a day among the flowers. Awake, awake, for the summer's wind had bidden the blossoms unclose, had opened the violet's soft blue eye, and awakened the sleeping rose. And lightly they wave on their slender stems, fragrant and fresh and fair, waiting for us as we singing come to gather our honeydew there. Then spread each wing and walk and sing through the long, bright, sunny hours. Over the pleasant earth we journey forth for a day among the flowers. The Owl and the Pussycat. The owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. They took some money and plenty of money wrapped up in a 5-pound note. The owl looked up at the stars above and sang a small guitar. Oh lovely pussy, my love, what a beautiful pussy you are, you are, you are, what a beautiful pussy you are. Pussy said to the owl, you elegant fowl, how charmingly sweet you sing. Oh, let us be married, too long we have tarried. But what shall we do for a ring? They sailed away for a year and a day to the land where the palm tree grows, and there in a wood a piggy wig stood with a ring at the end of its nose. His nose, what is ring at the end of this nose? Dear pig, are you willing to sell for 1 shilling your ring? Said the piggy, I will. So they took it away and they married next day. But the turkey who lives on the hill, they dined on mince and slice of quince, which they ate with a runcible spoon, and hand in hand on the edge of the sand they danced by the light of the moon. The moon, they danced by the light of the moon. Aha! Winking, blinking and nod. Winking, blinking and nod when night sailed off in a wooden shoe, sailed in a river of crystal light into the sea of dew. Where are you going and what did you wish? The old moon asked the three. We have come to fish for the herring fish that live in this beautiful sea. Nets of silver and gold have we, said Winking, Blinking and Nod. The old moon laughed and sang a song as they rocked into the wooden shoe. And the wind that shed them, sped them all night long, ruffled the waves of dew. The little stars were the herring fish. They lived in that beautiful sea. Now cast your nets wherever you wish. Never feared are we, she cried the stars to the fishermen three, Winking, Blinking and Nod. All night long their nests they threw to the stars in the twinkling foam. Then down from the skies came the wooden shoe, bringing the fishermen home. It was all so pretty, and still it seemed as if it could not be. And some folks thought it was a dream they had dreamed of sailing that beautiful sea. But I shall name you fishermen three, Winking, Blinking and Nod. Winking and Blinking are 2 little eyes, and Nod is a little head. The wooden shoe that sailed the skies is a wee one's trundle bed. So shut your eyes while mother sings of wonderful sights that be, and you shall see the beautiful things as you rock into the misty sea, where the old shoe rocked in the fishermen three, Winking, Blinking and Nod. Jabberwocky. It was brilling and slithy toes, did gyre and gimble in the wind. Old Mimsy were the borrow crows, and the mom wrote out grape. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jabberwock bird, and shun the frumious bantrench snatch. He took his warble sword in hand, long time the maximum foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in of fish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the ugly wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the warble blade. When snake and snag he left it dead, and with his head he went lumping back. And has so slain the Jabberwock, come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, fabulous day, Cal or Callie, he chortled in his joy. It was brilliant and slithy doves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All Mimsy were the borogos, and the mom rats out grape. Wow. lovely. You are old, Father William. You are old, Father William, the young man said, and your hair has become very white, and yet you insistently stand on your head. Do you think at your age it is right? In my youth, Father William replied to his son, I feared it might injure the brain, but now that I'm perfectly sure I have learned, why do I do it again and again? You're also the youth, as I mentioned before, and have grown most uncommonly fat, yet you turned a back somersault at the door. Pray, what is the reason for that? In my youth, said the sage, as he shook his grey locks, I kept all my limbs very supple, but the use of this ointment, 1 shilling the box, allow me to sell you a couple. You're also the youth, and your jaws are too weak for anything together. Then Suret, yet you finished the course with the bones in the back. Pray, how did you manage to do it? In my youth, said the father, I took to the law. I argued with each case with my wife, and the muscular strength which it gave to my jaw has lasted the rest of my life. You're also the youth. One could hardly suppose that your eyes were steady as ever, yet you balanced an eel on the end of your nose. What made you so awfully clever? I've answered 3 questions, and that is enough, said the father. His father, don't give yourself airs. Do you think I can listen all day to such stuff? Be off, or I'll kick you downstairs. There's listeners. Is there anybody there? Said the traveler, knocking on the moonlit door. And his horse in the silence champed the grasses of the forest for a floor. And the bird flew up on the turret above, the traveler said, and he smote upon the door again a second time. Is there anybody there? He said. But no one descended to the traveler. No head from the leaf-fringed sill leaned over and looked on his grey eyes. Where he stood perplexed and still, but only a host of phantom listeners that dwelt in the lone house then stood listening in the quiet of the moonlight to that voice from the world of men, stood thronging the faint moonbeams on the dark stair that goes down to the empty hall, hearkening in an air stirred and shaken by the lonely traveller's call, and he felt in his heart their strangeness, their stillness answering his cry, while his horse moved cropping the dark turf, the starred and leafy sky, for he suddenly smote on the door even louder and lifted his head. Tell me I came, and no one answered. That I kept my word, he said. Never the least sister made the listeners. Though every word he spake fell echoing through the shadowiness of the still house from the one left awake, and they heard his foot upon the stirrup and the sound of the iron on stone, and how the silence surged softly backward when the plunging hoofs were gone. In just spring, when the world is smart, Lucius, the little lame balloon man, whistles wow and wee and Eddie and Bill come running from the marbles and pinnacles, and it's spring, when the world and the bird wonderful, the queer old balloon man whistles far and wee, and the bitter sand come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope, and it's spring, and the gold-footed balloon man whistles far and wee. The wife. The day is done, and the darkness falls from the wings of the night as the feather is wafted downward from the eagle in its flight. I see the lights of the village gleam through the rain and the mist, and a feeling of sadness comes to me that my soul cannot resist. A feeling of sadness and longing that is not akin to pain and resembles sorrow, only as the mist resembles the rain. Come, read to me some poem, some simple and heartfelt lay that shall soothe this restless feeling and banish the thoughts of day. Not from the grand old masters, not from the bards sublime, whose distant footsteps echo through the corridors of time. For like strains of the martial music, their mighty thoughts suggest life's endless toil and endeavor, and tonight I long for rest. Read from some humbler poet, whose songs gush from his heart as showers from the clouds of summer, or tears from the eyelids start, who through long days of labor and nights devoid of ease, still heard in the soul the music of wonderful melodies. Such songs have the power of quiet the restless pulse of care, and comes like the benediction that follows after prayer. This read from the treasured volume, the poem of the choice, and laying to the rhyme of the poet the beauty of the poets. And the night shall be filled with music, and the cares that infest the day shall fold their rent like the Arabs as silent leaves steal away. Holocaust poetry? Frail envelope of flesh lying cold on the surgeon's table was anguish, with anguished eyes like your mother's eyes, and a heartbeat. Weak, unstable, frail crucible of this, brief flower come to this, your tiny hand in your mother's hand for the last bewildered kiss. Brief mayfly of a child to live 2 artless years. Now your mother's lips seal up your lips from the deluge of her years. Wow. You who read the calm, no calm. How could I understand that life might be painful, that sight might be crossed? How could I understand the cost of my ignorance or the sun's inflorescence? Who was there to tell me that I too might be one of the lost? Beautiful. La 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 la. I love you, God. Awesome, right? The best Thanksgiving poems. When the night winds whistle through the trees and blow the crisp brown leaves are crackling down, when the autumn moon is big and yellow, orange and round, when old Jack Frost is sparkling on the ground, is Thanksgiving time. When the pantry doors are full of mincemeat and the shelves are laden with sweet spices for a cake, when the butcher man sends us a turkey nice and fat to bake, and the stores are crammed with everything ingenious cooks can make, it's Thanksgiving time. When the gales of coming winter outside your window howl, when the air is sharp and the chilly, so it drives away your scowl, when one's appetite craves turkey and will have no other fowl, is Thanksgiving time. The cheerful chirping cricket contains grey autumn's gay contemptuous of frost. I caught the happy virus last night when I was out singing beneath the stars in the remarkably contagious, so kiss me. When I'm with you and stay up all night, when you are not here, I can't go to sleep. Praise God for these two insomnias and the difference between them. Sediment hymn. Now we must honor heaven's kingdom's garden, the might of the architects and his mind plans, the work of the glory Father. First he, the eternal Lord, established the foundation of the wonders. Then he, the first poet, created heaven on a roof, as a roof for the sons of men, wholly create the garden of mankind. Then he, the eternal Lord, afterward made the middle earth of men, Master Almighty. A thing of beauty is a joy wherever its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness. Looking into heaven. Hiroshima survivor Takashi Thomas. Turning my face to heaven, and since rather than see the endless blue beyond the dancing leaves and the soaring hawk, its immeasurable stillness reflects on the wonders of all creation. Morning dew glittering in the dawn like precious jewels, and twinkling stars echoing in the silent night. Like the songs of the angels, we gather the fruits of the earth till the barn is overflowing with bounty. My heart fills with countless blessing, food, shelter, clothing, and friends to be in circle. Looking back, I see how my stumbling steps have become a path, and how on this lonely road I have never been alone. The kindness of the man has seen many has been like a spring rain, bringing new life to my heart, and the blade of the grass were imaging. From the ashes of the past I stand amazed at my blessings, grateful for his wonders. Highway apple trees. Nobody sees this harvest, it just grows miraculous. Above old caps and cans, these apples may be sweet, nobody knows. If they were meant to ripen under those slow summer clouds, cooled by the smell green fans, nobody sees the harvest, it just grows. Nothing has sent to every wind that blows, uselessly save far from our knives and pans. These apples may be sweet, nobody knows. What future orchards can live in coves? One throws from glossy luminance and battered pans. Nobody sees this for harvest, it just grows. Denied the gift of the purpose we suppose would give it worth, comfort by human hands. These apples may be sweet, nobody knows. Soften and fall as autumn comes and goes into its leaf well earned as in months. Nobody sees this harvest, it just grows. These apples may be sweet, nobody knows. One apple alone in the abundant orchard reddens for winter. You are whatever a moon has always meant, and whatever a sun always sings is you. A blessing. Just off the highway to Rochester, Minnesota to light once. Softly forth on the grass, and the eyes of those two Indian ponies darkened with kindness. They have come gladly out of the willows to welcome my friend and me. We step over the barbed wire of the pasture where they have been gazing all day alone. The rifle tensely, they can hardly contain their happiness, and we have come. That bow shyly as wet swans. They love each other. There is no loneliness like this, and at home once more, they begin munching the young tubs of spring in the darkness. I would like to hold the slender one in my arms, and she has walked over to me and nuzzled my left hand. She is black and white, her mane is white on her forehead, and the light breeze moves me to caress her long ear that is delicate as the akin over the girl's wrist. Suddenly I realized that if I stepped out of my body, I would break into blossom. White plum blossoms, though the hour is late, a glimpse of dawn. My heart leaps up when I behold the rainbow in the sky. So it is when my life began, so it is now I am a man. So it be when I shall grow old or let me die. The childish father of the man I could wish my days to be bound, each to each by natural pity. In fields of autumn flowers can shade their blossom shameless. Why can't I also frolic here as fearless and as blameless? A clear midnight. This is the hour of the soul, the free flight into the wordless. Away from books, away from art, the day rests a lesson done. They fully forth emerging slide, gazing, pondering the themes of love's best night, sleep, death, and stars. Whistle the twilight will, viver pull I will, solemn. Evangelist of loneliness, hope is a thing with feathers. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul, and sings a tune without words and never stops at all. The sweetest in the gale is her, the soul must be the storm that could abash the little bird that keeps so many warm. I am hearted in the chilliest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it ask a crumb of me. The first morning of autumn, the mirror I investigate reflects my father's face. Beginning my studies, my first step pleased me so much. The mere fact consciousness, these forms, the power of motion, the least insect or animal, the senses eyesight loud. The first step I say aped me and pleased me so much. I have hardly gone and hardly wish to go any further, but stop and loiter all the time to sing it in ecstatic songs. While years pass, leaving the emptiness of heaven revealed. The poet's testament. I go back into the earth and the earth grave. All to the furrow, none to the grave, the candles out, the spruce vigils wind, sight may not follow where the vision went. I leave you, but the sound of many a word and mocking echoes hardly overheard. I sat to heaven, my exile made me free. From world to world, from world gathered me. Spared by the furious and the fates were kind. I paced the pillared cross, still of the mind. All times my present, everywhere my place. No fear, no hope, no envy. Saw my face, blow what winds would. The ancient truth was mine, the fragrant melody in the flush of wine, and heavenly laughter shaking from its wings atoms of lights and tears for mortal things. To trembling harmonies of field and cloud, of flesh and spirit, that was my worship home. Late form, late music, let all the quitting air fulfill in beauty my imperfect prayer. Ah, butterfly, what dreams do you ply with your beautiful wings? Release. Slow for the sake of the flowers is the turn towards sunlight, graceful is the line of itself, coming into the wind, slow for the mill. Wheels heft and plummet for the chung and the churn of water as it gathers for the frail half-life of spreadlets as they toss and spill. For all that lags and eases, all that knows, shows the wetting downward and the diminished scale of days declining to a twilight chill, breathe quietly, release into a repose. Watching was wan moonlight illumining trees, my heart also brims, overflowing with autumn. Those winter Sundays. Sundays too, my father got up early and put his clothes on the blueback coal. Then his cracked hands that ached from labor in the week, they were the pain. Banked fires blazed, no one ever thanked him. I would wake and hear the coal splintering, breaking. When the rooms were warm, he would call, and slowly I would rise and dress, fearing the chronic angers of that house, speaking indifferently to him who had driven out the cold and polished all good shoes as well. What did I know of love's austere and lonely offices? The first soft snow leaves of the ape jack will blow low. Poem of poems. A boy passes, goes like strength a curtain of weeping willow. In rainbow-stained apparel, birds are singing in a capilla. Suddenly I sense it in the birds and in the child. The world is a poem growing wild. A dewdrop of a bell of grass soon slips from where it clung, like a perfect word that gathers on the tip of the poet's tongue. And men are merely characters to love and be defiled. God is a poem growing wild. Come investigate loneliness. A solitary leaf clings to the carrot tree. Bread and music. Bread I heard with you was more than music, and bread I broke with you was more than bread. Not that I am without you, all is desolate, and that was once so beautiful is dead. Your hands will stretch the table and the silver, and I have seen your fingers hold the glass. These things do not remember you, beloved, and yet your touch upon them will not pass. For it was in my heart you moved among them, or blessed them with your hands and with your eyes, and in my heart they will remember always they knew you once, oh beautiful and wise. I had thought to pluck the flower of forgetfulness only to find it already blossoming in his heart. Song for the last act. Now that I have your face, my heart, I look less as his features than his darkening frame. We are quince and the melon yellow as a young flame ply with quill dahlias and the shepherd crook. Beyond a garden there in insolent ease and leaden marble figure, what the show of yet another summer loth to go, although the side hang in the apple trees. Not that I have your face by heart, I look. Not that I have your voice by heart, I read in the black chords upon a dulling pace. Music that is not meant for music's cage, whose emblems mix with words that shake and bleed, the staves that are shuttled over the stark, the unprinted silence in a double tree. I must spell out the storm, the running stream, the beat stood swift, the nose shift in the dark. Not that I have your voice by heart, I read. Not that I have your heart by heart, I see the wharves with their great ships and architect cribs, the ringing and the cargo and the slaves of the strange beach under the broken sky, and not departure, but a voice done. The bell stand on the stone, the anchor weeps and draped rest downward, and the long wind creeps beside the salt herb in the lengthening sun. Not that I have your heart by heart, I see. Late autumn, now all the golden leaves turn black underfoot sooth. It is a beauteous evening, calm and free. It is a beauteous evening, calm and free. The holy times is quiet as a nun. Breathless with adoration, the broad sun is sinking down in its tranquility. The gentleness of the heaven brood over the sea. Listen, the mighty being is awake and doth with his eternal motion wake a sound like thunder everlastingly. Dear child, dear girl, that wakes with me here. If thou appear untouched by solemn thought, the nature is not there full less divine, thou less in Abraham's bosom all the year, and worship at the temple in a shrine, God being with thee when we know it not. This darkening autumn, my neighbor, how does he continue? Come slowly, Eden. Come slowly, Eden, lips unsuit to thee, bashful sip of jasmines as the fainting bee. Reaching late his flower round the chamber hums, count his nectar's allies and is lost in bombs. Grass is wilt, the breaking locomotive grins to a halt. This is just to say, I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox and which you were probably saving for breakfast. Forgive me, they were delicious, so sweet and so cold. The first children, poor monkey, you too could use a waving cap of straw, since feeling is first. Since feeling is first, who pays any attention to the syntax of the things will never wholly kiss you, wholly to be a fool, while spring is in the world. My blood approves the kisses are a better fate than wisdom. Lady, I swear by all flowers don't cry. The best gesture of my brain is less than your eyelids flutter, that would say. We are for each other then love, leaning back in my arms, for life is not a paragraph, and death, I think it is not parenthesis. It is the moments after I have dreamed. It is at the moments after I have dreamed of the rare entertainments of your eyes, When I have dreamed with your peculiar mouth, my heart met once. At moments when the glassy darkness holds a genuine appreciation of your smile. In silence, moist, such strangeness as was mine a little while. Moments when my once more illustrious arms are filled with fascination, when my breast wears the intolerant brightness of your charms. One pierced moment, rather than the rest, turning from the tremendous lie of sleep, I watch the roses of the day grow deep. The wild swans are cooling. The trees are in their autumn beauty, the woodland paths are dry. Under the October twilight, the water mirrors a little sky. Upon the brimming water among the stones are 59 swans. The 19th autumn has come upon me since I was made my count. I saw before I had well finished, and suddenly mountains scatter wheeling in great broken rings upon the clamorous springs. I have looked upon those brilliant creatures, and now my heart is so all changed since I was hearing until I the first time opened the show, the bell beat of their wings above my head, shot with lighter trade, and where it is still lover by lover, the pattern of the cold companion will. Streams so climb the air, their hearts have not grown old, passion or conquest wander where they will attend them upon still. But now they drift on the still water, mysterious, beautiful, among what rushes will they build, by what lake age of will delight men's eyes when I awake someday to find they have flown away. The noiseless patient spider. A noiseless patient spider I marked where on a little promontory it stood isolated, marked how to explore the vacant bars surrounding it, launched forth filament out of itself, ever unreeling them, ever tirelessly speeding them. O you, O my soul, where you stand, surrounded, detached in measureless ocean of space, ceaselessly musing, venturing, throwing, seeking the spheres to connect them, till the bridge you need be formed, till the ductile anchor hold, till the gossamer thread you fling cast somewhere, O my soul. Ode to autumn. Seasons of mist and mellow fruitfulness, clothes blossom friends of the maturing sun, conspiring with him hard to load and bless with fruit the vines, and that round the hatch eaves run, to bend with apples the moss cottage trees, and fill the fruit with ripeness to the core, to swell the gourd and plump the hasset shells, with a sweet kernel to set budding more, and still more let of flowers for the bees, until they think warm days will never cease, for summer has overbrimmed their calamy cells. Who had not seen thee amid thy store? Sometimes whoever seeks abroad may find thee sitting careless on the granary floor, thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind, or half a reaped furrow soundlessly drowned with a fume from the poppies, while thy hook is past the next sweat, and all is twinned flowers, and sometimes like a gleaner thou dost keep steady and leaden head across the brook, or by a cedar press with patient look thou watch the last oozing hours by hours. Where the songs of spring, and where are they? Think not of them, thou hast the music too, while buried clouds bloom the soft day, the touch of the subtle pains with rosy hue. There's a willful joy of small glance moan among the river's shallows, borne aloft, or sinking in the light wind lives or dies, and full-grown lambs loud bleat from helly born. Hedge crickets sing, and now with the treble soft, the red-dress whistles from a garden croft, and gathering swallows twitters in the skies. Music with soft voices die. Music, when soft voices die, he vibrate in the memory orbs, when sweet violins chicken lives within the sense of the quickened. Rose leaves when the rose's head are heaped for the beloved's bed, and so the thoughts when thou art gone, love itself shall slumber on. Sonnet. Shakespeare. That time of the year thou mayst in me behold, when yellow leaves on none of you do hang, when those boughs which make against the cold bed ruined choice, where late the sweetest bird sang. In me thou seest the delight of such a day, after such sunset fade in the west, which by and by by black night doth take away that second half self that seals up all the rest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire that on the ashes of the youth doth lie, as the deathbed whereon it must expire, consumed with that which is nourished by. This thou perceives, which makes thy love more strong to love that well, which thou must leave at long, nothing gold can stay. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue is gold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaves subsides to leaves, so Adam sang to grief. So dawn goes down the day, nothing gold can stay. Wild asters. In the spring, I asked the daisies if this verse were true, and the clever, clear-eyed daisies always knew. Now the fields are brown and barren, bitter autumn blows, and of all the stupid asters, not one knows. Autumn contrum. It's not that every leaf must finally fall, it's just that we can never catch them all. A last word? Let us go hence, the night is now at hand, the day is overworn, the birds are flown, and we have reaped the crops that our gods have sown. Despair and then deep darkness over the land broods like an oil. Who cannot understand laughter or tears, or we have only known surpassing vanity, vain things alone have driven on the purpose of the endless band. Let us go hence, some whither, strange or cold, to hollow land. We are just men and unjust find end of labor. Where is the reservoir for the old? Freedom to all forms, love and fear at last. Twine our torn hands, or pray the earth unfold our lives, sick hearts, and turn them into dust. Gathering leaves. Spades take up leaves, no better than spoons, and bags full of leaves are light as balloons. I make a great noise of rustling all day, like rabbit and deer running away. But the mountain I raise elude my embrace, flowing over my arms and into my face. I may load and unload again and again till I fill the whole shade and water. I spin then, next to nothing for weight, and since they grew duller from contact with earth, next to nothing for color, next to nothing for use, but a drop is a crop, and who's to say where the harvest shall stop? The brevity of life forbids us to entertain hopes of long duration. They are not long, the weeping and the laughter, love and desire and hate. I think they have no portion in us after we pass the gate. They are not long, the days of wine and roses out of the misty dream. Our path emerges for a while, then closes within a dream. The wild swans set cooling. The trees are in the autumn beauty, the woodland paths are dry. Under the October to light, the water mirrors a still sky. Upon the brimming water among the stones are 59 swans. The 19th autumn has come upon me since I first made my count. I saw before I had finished all suddenly mountains scattered wheeling in great broken rings upon their calibrous wings. I have looked upon those brilliant creatures, and now my heart is so all changed since I, hearing it July the first time on the shore, the bell beat of these rings above my head trod with the lighter tread, and where it is still lover by lover they battle in the cold, companionable streams or climb the air. Their hearts have not grown old. Passion or conquest wander where they will, attend upon them still. But now they drift onto the still water, mysterious, beautiful. Among what rushes will they build? By what lakes, age or pool, delight men's eyes when I awake someday to find they have flown away? Song for the last act. Not that I have your face by heart I look less at his features than the darkening frame. We are quince and melon, generous young flame, lie with quill dahlias in the shepherd grove. Beyond a garden, there is insolent ease that lead. The laden, the morbid figures watch the show of yet another summer load to go, although the skies hang in the apple trees. Not that I have your face by heart I look, not that I have your voice by heart to read in the black chords upon the dulling page. Music that is not meant for music's cage, whose emblems mix with the words that shake and bleed, and staves are shut still over with a star. Unprinted silence in a double dream, I must spell out the storm, the running stream, the bed too swift, the nose shift in the dark. Not that I have your voice by your heart I read, not that I have your heart by heart. I see the walls of their great ships and archy traves ringing at the cargo of the slaves on a strange beach. under a broken sky or not departure. But a voice done, the bell stand on the stone, the anchor weaves its red rust downward, and the long vine creeps besides the salt herb in the lengthening sun. Not that I have your heart, my heart as the leaf fall. Whatever winds encounter soon resolved to swelling fragments, till chaotic heaps of leaves lay pulsing by the background wall. In lieu of wrecks, our fingers sorted each dry leaf into his palace and built a high soft bastion against Earth's gravitation, a patchwork quilt, a trampoline, and bright impotent of to fling ourselves upon, and nothing in our laughter as we fell into those leaves was like an autumn's cry of also falling. Nothing went to die could not be so bright as we, so colorful clad in our plates, oblivious of to pain we would feel today should we leave fall again. The snowman. One must have a mind of a winter to regard the frost in the boughs of the pine trees crusted with snow, and have been cold a long time to behold the junipers shacked with ice, the spruces rough in a distant clatter of the January sun, and not to think of many misery to the sound of the wind and the sound of the few leaves, which is the sound of the land full of the same kind that is blowing in the same bare place. For the listener who listens in the snow and nothing himself beholds nothing that is not there and nothing that is. Those winter Sundays. Sundays too, my father got up early and put on his clothes on the blue-back coal. Then, with cracked hands that ached from labor in the weekday where the main banked fires blazed, no one ever thanked him. I would wait and hear the coal splintering, breaking. When the rooms were warm, he would call, and slowly I would rise and dress, fearing the chronic angers of that house, speaking indifferently to him who had driven out the cold and polished my good shoes as well. What did I know of love's austere and lonely offices, the man whose ference was bad? The time of the year had grown in drift and mildew of summer, and the deepening snow are both alike in the routine I know I'm too humbly in my being pent. The wind attendant on the solstices blows on the shutters of the metropolis, stirring no poet in his sleep, and taunts the grand ideas of the villages. The melody of the cotillion, perhaps if summer ever came to rest and let them deepen and comforted carriage through days like ocean in obsidian. Horizons full of nights midsummer place, perhaps if winter comes and penetrate through all his purpose to the final state, persistently blinking in an icy haze, one might in turn become less defeated out of such mildew plucking nature mold and spouting new orations for the cold. One might, but time will not relent between frosts. Frame in the front, sliding now, maples must withering as giant fossils in full bloom, with a very soon be revealing how an early leaves short-lived flower, but greater than any loss of pervasion in a fleeting golden hour is a building promise of release from another eternal winter prison, wide open doors and the long-awaited, warm, luxurious freedom of being part of the scene again, at least till its culminant powers unfold the final tapestry made to fade away in a perennial pageant of decay. Sonnet from Word from the Hills. You were so solid, Father, cold and raw as these north winters, where your angry will first hearten at the earth when the long chill deepens as the country's cruel law. Yet in the trackled snow without the floor covering me to a road and stilled the hills, the spring, the muffled stream were running still, dark until the spring came and the awful thaw in your decay gentleness appears. I hadn't guessed, when grey as rotting snow propped into your chair, your face will run with tears trying to speak, and your hands stiff and slow will touch my child, who, sensing the cold tears in your eyes, cries until you let her go. Something inescapable is lost like a pale vapor, curling up in shafts of moonlight, vanishing in the gust of the wind toward an expanse of stars immeasurable and void. Something inscrutable is gone with the spent leaves and illuminous of autumn, scattering in a haze, with a faint rustle of parched grass and remembrance. Something unforgettable is past, blown from the glimmer into nothingness or lesser finality, has swept into the corner where it lies in dust and cobwebs and silence. The tide rises, the tide falls. The tide rises, the tide falls. The twilight darkens. The curlew calls along the sea. Sands dampen and brown. The traveler hastens towards the town. If the tide rises, the tide falls, darkens, settles on roofs and walls. But the sea in the darkness calls. The little waves with their soft white hand efface the footprints into the sand, and the tide rises, the tide falls. The morning breaks, the steeds in the stalls stamp and neigh. As the hostler calls, the day returns, but never more returns the traveler to the shore, and the tide rises, the tide falls. The wheel hoist one to see rightly that a tree that black delusion and deep confusion of branch twig splinters, spread bare for winter, standing black, bold in winter's cold and grey skies gloom outside my room, thinking I'll prove in real. I move my head south north to bring it forth, and so reveal its depth as feel men rearrange their thoughts thus. The strange horn gately, it moves like me more than mine beneath. The many it is the one, the skeleton is trunk, is stark and mortal bark. Raccoons and men have ripened and skin and left to die, but it is not I who can define the shape of mine. After this frost, all will be lost. In a strange scene of savage grief, when it receives its distraught leaves that charm the eyes as the ear lies. That poets tell, all will be well, for we shall see it in greenery, in sun and gale its face is weak, rep upon rep, is true as shem. When you're old. When you're old and grey and full of sleep, and nothing by the fire can take down this book, and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once and of their shadows stayed. How many loved your moments of the glad grace and loved your beauty with love also too. But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you and loved the sorrows of changing your face, of your changing face. The bending down beside the glowing bars murmur a little sadly how love played and paced upon the mountains overhead and hid his face amid the crowd of stars, the light of other days. Oft in the silly light night, a slumber's chain has bound me. Fond memory brings the light of other days around me. The smiles that use the boyhood's years, the words of love then spoken, the eyes that shine, now dimmed and gone, and cheerful hearts now broken. Thus in the city night, a slumber's chain has bound me. Sad memory brings the light of other days around me. When I remember all the friends so linked together I have seen around me fall like leaves in wintry weather, I feel like one who treads alone some banquet hall deserted, whose lights are flared, whose garlands dread, and all that but we departed thus in the silly night. A slumber's chain has bound me. Sad memory brings the light of other days around me. The death of a toad. A toad, the power mover caught, chewed and clept off a lake, with a bobbling hop has got to the garden verge and sanctuared right hem. Under the scenario leaves in the shade of the ashen, and the heart-shaped leaves in a dim blue and final clay. The rare original heart's blood goes, spends in the earth and hide in the force of the whizzing flows, and the gutters of the backed and staring eyes he lies as still as he had written to a stone, and soundlessly attaining dies towards some deep monotone. Toward misted and ebullient seas and the cooling shores, to birth's laws, amphibia empires, day dwindles, drowning, and at length is gone in the wide and antique ice, with woods still appear to watch across the castrate lawn, the haggling daylight steam. Bread and music. Music I heard with you was more than music, and bread I broke with you was more than bread. Not that I am without you, all is desolate, all that was once so beautiful is dead. Your hands once touched this table and the silver, and I have seen your fingers hold this glass. These things do not remember you, beloved, and yet your touch upon them will not pass. For it was in my heart you moved among them and blessed them with your hands on with your eyes, and in my heart they will remember always they knew you once so beautiful and wise. Piano. Softly in the dusk a woman is singing to me, taking my back, down to the mist of years, till I see a child sitting under the piano in the boom of the tinkling strings and tracing the small foot's feet of a mother who smiles as she sings. In spite of myself, the insidious mastery of song betrays me back till the heart of me weeps to belong to the old Sunday evening at home with winter outside, the hem of the cozy parlor and tinkling piano our guide. So now it is vain for the singer to burst into clamor with the great black piano appassionato. The glamour of the childish days is upon me. My manhood is cast down in the flood of remembrance. I weep like a child for the past. Acquainted with the night. I have been one acquainted with the night. I have walked out in rain and back in rain. I have outwalked the furthest city light. I have looked down the saddest city lane. I have passed by the watchman on his beat and dropped my eyes unwillingly. When I would stood still and stopped, the sound of the feet going far away, an uninterrupted cry came over houses from another street, but not to call me back or say goodbye. And further still, at an unearthly height, one luminary clock against the sky proclaimed the time was neither wrong nor right. I have been at one acquainted with the night. In a station of a metro, the appreciation of these faces in the crowd petals on a big black bow. The playground. Over the playground, we action and visit trees, touch orders to the air to draw the letter space. Children songed on the lawn, muss the grass with their toes. What can they touch of dawn? What sweetness as it goes? Dew that will turn to tears and trickle through their sleep and through their future years, till they too are old and in their wisdom weep a honey dark and cold song. When I'm dead, my dear, sing no sad songs for me. Plant no roses at my head, not cherry cypress tree, but the green grass above me, with showers and dewdrops wait. And if thou wilt remember, and if thou wilt forget, I shall not see the shadows, I shall not feel the rain, I shall not hear the nightingale sing on as if in pain, and dreaming through the twilight that doth not rise nor set. Happily I may remember and happily may forget. Excerpts from more poems. O thou that from thy mention thou time and place to roam, dost send abroad thy children, and then dost call them home, that men in tribes and nation and all thy hand hath made may shelter them from sunshine in thine eternal shade. We now to peace and darkness the earth in thee bestow, the creature that thou madest and will cause forth no more. Do not go gentle into the night. Good night. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men are at their in darkened strife, because there was a foe, no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in the green bay. Rage against the dying of the night, of the light. White men have caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late. They greet it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Great men near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes would blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, that are on the satin height, curse bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage against the dying of the light. Excess 4. In my craft of sullen art. In my craft of sullen art, exercising the still night, when only the moon reaches and the lovers lie abed. With all their graves in their arms, I labor by singing light, not for the ambition of bread or the stir or the trade of the charms on the ivory stages, but for the common wages of their most sacred heart, not for the proud man apart from the raging moon and ride on these sprint drift pages, nor for the toiling dead with the nightingales and zamps, but for the lovers their arms round the griefs of the ages, who pay no praise or wages, nor heed my craft or art. The Brooklyn Bridge. How many dawns chill from his rippling breast? The seagull wings shall dip and pivot him, shedding white rings of timid bearing high over the chain bay water's liberty. Then with inviolate curve forsake our eyes, as apparitional as sails that cross some page of figures to be whiled away, tile elevators, droppers from our day. I think of cinema's panoramic slides with multitudes bent towards some flashing scenes, never disclosed but hastened to again foretold to other eyes of the same screen. And thee across the harbour, silver paced, as thought the sun took step of thee, yet left some motion, ever unspent in that stride, implicitly the freedom staying thee. Or to some subject scuttle, sell or laughed, I bedlamite, space to thy parapets, tittering there momentarily, shrill shirt ballooning, a jest falls from the speechless caravan, down wall from Gidder into straight noon lakes, a rib of the sky acetylene. All afternoon the cloud flown, Derek turn, the cables breathe the North Atlantic still. And obscure as that heaven of the Jews, the guardian occult, though that's this too, and unity time cannot raise, but in reprieve and pardon, though those no show. O harp in altar of fury fuse, how could mere toil align the joining strength? Terrific threshold of the prophet's place, prayer of barrier, and the lover's cry. Again the traffic lights that skim that swift and fractioned idiom immaculate sigh of the stars, beating the path contains eternity, and we have seen night lifted in thine arms. Under the shadow of the fears I waited, only in darkness in the shadow clear, the city's fears, the parcels, all undone already snow submerges an iron ear. O sleepless is a river under tree, under thee vaulting the sea, and the parrot's dreaming thought unto us the lowliest, sometimes sweet descent of the curved ship led the myth of to God. Director. Blackout of all this now too much for us. Blackout is the time made simple by the loss of detailed burned, dissolved and broken off. Like graveyard marble sculptor in the weather, there is a house, there is no more a house. Upon a farm, that is no more a farm. And a town, that is no more a town. The road there and you'll guide directs you. Who only has at heart you're getting lost. May seem as if it should have been a query. Great monolithic knees the former town. Long since gave up a pretense of keeping covered, and there's a story in a book about it besides the wear of iron wagon wheels. The ledges showed lines rule northeast, northwest, the chiseled work of the enormous glacier that pressed his feet against the Arctic pole. You must not mind a certain coolness from him still said to haunt the side of the Panther Mountain. Nor need you mind the serial odor of being washed from the 40 cellared holes, as if by eye pairs out of the 44 gets. As for the woods excitement over you, that sends light rustle rushes to these leaves, charge that to upstart inexperience. Where did they all are not 20 years ago? They think too much of having shaded out the few old pecker fretted apple